Time for the papers this morning at 8:42 with our senior political commentator Nigel Nelson and former Conservative advisor Claire Pearsall. Good to see you both. Claire,
this frightening front page of the Mirror.
It is. It's awful. And I think that pretty much every person watching is guilty at some point of buying some quite cheap fashion. And we all put it into either a charity shop or a clothes recycling bank once we've finished with it, thinking that we're doing our piece. But this is horrendous, and the Daily Mirror has looked at what happens to these things that are put in recycling bins, and they're packaged up. They end up out in Africa. In this case, it's Accra in Ghana. And quite a lot of the clothes that are sent over there are in such poor quality that they cannot be reused, and they end up in this enormous sort of landfill beachfront location, just there to rot away.
you see, I would say it's not our fault if we're sending stuff off. If we think we're doing the right thing, then why isn't the right thing happening with it?
But I do think that some of it is our fault, and we have become slightly addicted to cheap, fast fashion, especially younger generations who maybe don't have very much money. And when you're seeing online sites offering a new outfit for under a fiver, then you're going to do that. You want something new to wear every time you go out. You wear it once, you discard it. I think older generations look at things slightly differently, and I think when you are further on in your working life, you look at a jacket or a dress and you think it's worth the investment. But not everybody's in that boat, and I think that some of it is our problem. However, you're right. The companies that take this stuff and package it up and send it over to Africa know, in some instances, that some of this clothing, textile, is not good and isn't going to be recycled. So I think they have a responsibility not to send that. But it's what you do with it, because if you end up incinerating it, that's bad for the environment, but then equally leaving it to rot on a beach in another country.
And some of it doesn't rot because a lot of clothing has plastic in it.
Which is the other problem with something like this.
And I don't think we all realise that actually an awful lot of clothing that you think, oh, that's polyester or something like... But actually what it's got in it is plastic, which stops it rotting.
Yes, and a lot of it's getting into the sea, so that's disrupting the ecosystem because, as you say, that it won't disintegrate. And what the locals there are talking about is that turtles aren't coming ashore to lay eggs, that fishers can't fish anymore because because the waters are so muddied up, and you've got coral dying. So with all those things happening, you're actually wrecking an ecosystem at the same time.
We need to develop... There's a system, you know, where you can dissolve all your clothes and things. You can dissolve just about anything in the right chemicals.
Well,
you just everything you don't want, you used to go into a pot, dissolves it, and you take all the nutrients out and things.
You put acid in your washing machine, I suppose, couldn't you?
What do you do with the waste?
But that's how you recycle it. That's like recycled polymers and things, but you have to dissolve them all first. But that needs to be a proper industry of clothes disposal, and that's a proper way of recycling.
It's not something you can sort of do in your...
Oh, no, you'd have to send it off. It's a big business, but people should be doing that rather than just...
Well, they should. Landfill is never going to be the answer.
Landfill isn't the answer. And it's just the most horrible picture there on the front page of the Mirror of those two little children sort of playing or standing, looking a bit forlorn, really, on this mountain of horrible, rotting fashion.
And it's also on the inside pages when you see the animals scrabbling around looking for food scraps in amongst somebody's discarded T-shirt.
Now, here is a good one. Oh, yeah, this is Claire, it was you as well. This is about typos causing these massive state secret problems.
Yes. Now, I think
this is typing error.
We have all been...
We've all done it.
To that. Yes. We have all done this. We have all put an email address incorrectly or hit reply all when we didn't mean to. But when you're...
reply all, that's a bane in my life.
It's dangerous.
It is very, very dangerous. But I suppose when you're the Ministry of Defence, you would expect that if you are transmitting documents of a sensitive nature, that you would be at pains to get the email address correctly. And this came about... they were trying to send documents over to a military account, which was .mil at the end of it, but they missed out the middle I. So it went to .ml, which is Mali, a country which is closely aligned into Russia, and we're quite grateful for foreign secrets to be coming across. And it was actually a Dutch internet entrepreneur who was contracted by Mali to look after that domain, who noticed this happening. It's not a recent thing. And did alert the State Department in the United States. This is where most of them have come from. And said to the Pentagon, there is a problem, you keep sending these emails. And they said, oh, I don't think we are, there's nothing to see here. So he raised this issue. And it's at one stage, he reckons as many as 20,000 misdirected emails were sent with sensitive information as to locations of individuals, diaries of State Department officials, all going into the wrong hands. And it has taken a long time for the State Department to realise that this is
so inept.
It is, but it is inept, isn't it?
Absolutely inept.
You'd think. I mean, OK, we've all made that kind of mistake at one time or another. You might have slagged off your boss to a colleague and then sent them the message to the boss. And you, oh no, what have I done?
Have you done that? It sounds like you've done it.
Well, I have done it, yeah. But when it comes down to military secrets, you'd think they'd have a sort of fail-safe device to stop it happening.
You would do. You think they'd think
to go through another process.
Yeah, one of those.
Go on.
boxes.
What happened?
with you.
No one said a word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you knew you'd sent it to him.
I knew where I'd sent it to, but just everyone ignored
and
it.
he knew you knew.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just never discussed it.
That's right.
How interesting.
Now, Nigel, in the Times this morning, very positive news that you've dramatically reduced your cancer risk over recent years because of the amount of housework that you're doing.
Apparently so, provided I do it and do a little bit more than just clear the dishwasher. I think that this requires a bit more. But it's a study by Sydney University in Australia, and what they've found out is that 4 minutes of sort of what they call housework with gusto will actually cut your cancer risk by 18%.
I'm going to live forever at this, right?
So it's things like vacuuming and stuff like that. I mean, the same study, although we've got the story twice here, but the same study is talking about if you play with your grandchildren for 5 minutes a day, again, the same thing will happen. You will cut your risk.
How does that do that? I mean, it's basic exercise.
Yeah, basically it's exercise. I mean, if you don't go down to the gym, then don't sort of give up. In other words, you can do the housework for 5 minutes, but really do it properly, and that will cut your risk. In other words, it's a kind of some exercise is better than no exercise at all.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It makes the housework a bit more worthwhile, doesn't it? Meanwhile, we combat all of that, Claire, if we go on an all-inclusive holiday, according to the Star, when we have our daily calorie intake and just booze, doesn't mind the food.
Yeah, now this is the Daily Star reporting that Brits that go on all-inclusive holidays eat 50,000 calories a week, or consume 50,000 calories a week. Now, as people that have just come back from an all-inclusive holiday, I can understand that because there is food there, it is available, there is lots of it, there is different things. And
that's more than double what you should be having.
It is. And it's things like cocktails. So when you're on holiday, things like cocktails, which are highly calorific if you're going to have those with a little umbrella in it and sit by the poolside or the sea. But it is... I kind of think that if you're going on a holiday, you need to go and enjoy it and not worry about it. Now, I can understand how people get drawn into this, and you do start the holiday by saying, I want everything all at once, but I kind of got a bit fed up with that, so was eating a lot of salads and things like that, but still at my body weight in feta cheese because it was there, it was available,
it's
it
gorgeous.
was nicer than at home. So I can kind of see
I can attest to that, you did.
Thank you, but I did go swimming a lot, so that was fine, and I do more housework, so therefore I'm OK.
Yeah, the all-inclusive holiday is wonderful because you don't have to worry, you don't have to constantly think whether you can afford this meal or that cocktail.
Precisely.
But it's very easy to
creep up on
overdo it. But then you are on holiday.
You are, and it's great when you have children because if they don't like something, it's a case of you're not going to have an argument over it.
Right.
You can go, so, right, fine, go and get something else. Go and have something else to eat. If you want a drink, you can go and get one. You don't have to constantly think about how much money you're spending. So there are benefits to it.
It's lovely.
But also go and support the local businesses occasionally for a meal out. But I just think when you're on holiday, all the normal rules of things like that have to go out the window.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you've got to treat yourself on holiday, but maybe slightly less than that. Meanwhile, if we want a good British meal out, Nigel, we need to start booking early.
Very
to
early.
this particular pub,
Yes,
according to the Mirror.
Yeah, this is a survey of different places where you need to book and how long it takes. Anyway, there's a pub in Bristol where you're going to have to wait 4 years if you want to get a table. Now, who ever knows what they're going to be doing on a Sunday in 4 years' time? But that is what
What's it called?
It's called the Bank in Bristol.
It must be good.
Well, apparently it is. They've got they do 7 tables, 40 covers. They've come out. They've won all sorts of awards for being the best food there. So if you phone them and say, "Oh, I really fancy lunch this coming Sunday," they will then direct you 4 years' time, and so you can come then.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That is really crazy.
It is crazy.
It can't be that good.
Well,
You think, is it just a 5-minute wonder and they're having all these bookings for 4 years' time, but then someone else will open up somewhere that gets awards and is slightly different?
well, they've certainly got the publicity in the Mirror
Exactly.
today,
I mean,
haven't
fair
they?
play to them for that, and I'm glad that they're doing so well at a time when a lot of places are closing.
Yeah, you need one down the road that says only a 2-year wait.
Exactly, exactly. A little competition.
I mean, that's crackers, that, isn't it? Lovely. Thank you both very much. It's been good to see you this morning.
Brilliant, yes.
You can go back and chill now and do
I'm
the
off to do the
housework.
vacuuming.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, do the housework together.
And then have a cocktail.
Oh, there you go.
You'll have earned it.
Yeah, well, they deserve it as well. We've got lots more still to come. The latest on this whole debanking situation, because what it now means for NatWest as a group, they've made a whole load of profits, but their share value is still right down.
And it's not a good look, is it?
No. Could the whole board go? We'll tell you more after the weather.